Hey guys, welcome back to a new video by Biology with Zhangshan. So today we are going to do the Cambridge IGCSE Biology Paper 2 Multiple Choice Extended. This is the October-November 2024 series and this is a variant 3. So if there are any questions relating to this paper, feel free to comment down in the comment section below and I will definitely will clarify that step by step. Alright, so let's start with the first question. So question number 1, what is a description of excretion? Okay, A chemical reaction that releases energy. This is wrong. A permanent increase in size and dry mass. C, removal of waste products of metabolism. Yes. And taking in material for energy growth and development. This is wrong. So the answer is C. So think of excretion as one of it as urination. When you urinate, you're removing all of the waste products, alright, or whatever happens in your body and it's time to get it out, alright, from your body. Question 2. The scientific name for a domestic horse is Equus caballus. Which row shows the two parts of the name using the binomial system? So with the one with the capital letter with the genus, okay, and the caballus which has the smaller c is the species. So the answer is D. Question 3. The diagram shows a type of plant cell. Where does this type of cell comes from? Alright, so this is a plant cell. There's a nucleus, the cytoplasm, there's a cell wall and a vacuole. So where can you see this type of cell? So generally, we will check one by one. A cuticle does not shape like this. A palisade mesophyll is not like this. It has more chloroplast. And spongy mesophyll, there is some chloroplast, but not as much as palisade. And we know that the root actually do not have any chloroplast. So the answer is A. Question 4. What is the formula for calculating magnification? Well, this is actually very simple. Just use the formula triangle that I love to use in all my videos. I, A / M. So they want magnification, so you find this. So the answer for this is image over actual size. The answer is C. Question 5. The diagram represents a substance moving across a cell membrane using energy from respiration. This is the keyword, which really tells you this is an active transport. Because active transport is the only form of cell membrane transport that actually uses energy from respiration to move something across. Okay, and if you can't get this point, you can see that there is lesser concentration here and there is more concentration here. Alright, so it's moving across or opposite against the concentration gradient, and there is a protein carrier. So there's a lot of hints here that tells you that this is actually active transport. Question 6. Which food test region shows a positive result for when it turns blue to purple? Alright, so this is actually the protein test. So the protein test is known as the Burette solution. Question 7. What is the characteristics of an enzyme? The active site is the same shape as the substrate. No. It is used up during the reaction. No, it isn't. Meaning like it is not part of it. The enzyme will still be released again after it has been finished. After the chemical reaction is done, the enzyme will still be released as its normal form already. It is made of protein, yes. So the answer is A. So you can see an enzyme, okay. The enzyme's site, let's say this is the enzyme, right? The substrate cannot be the same shape as the enzyme. It has to be, let's say, something like this. Okay, then this is the substrate. So the substrate has a different shape than the active site of the enzyme. That is important, okay? Question 8. An enzyme in potato cells causes oxygen to be produced from the breakdown of hydrogen peroxide. Cubes of potato tissue were placed in hydrogen peroxide solution at different temperatures. The number of bubbles oxygen released per minute was counted at each temperature. The table shows the result. So you can see that the number of bubbles released at lower, okay, and then you can see that there is a lesser amount of oxygen bubbles released per minute. So what is the optimum temperature for this enzyme? So looking at here, by looking at the moles, it will be 15 to 35. Question 9. Which molecules contain nitrogen? Alright, so it's amino acids. Only proteins has CHON. Remember? CHON, CHO, CHO, CHO. C means carbon, H means hydrogen, O is oxygen, and N is nitrogen. Question 10. The photomicrograph shows the lower surface of the leaf. Okay, meaning like this is a leaf, right? And then you got all the sort palisade, and then there's the vascular bundle. So now they're telling you about this. This is the lower surface. So you can see that there's a lot of these types of cells, right? So which part of the cell is leaf is labeled X, alright? So the answer is actually the guard cells. Okay, if you're asking where's the stomata is actually here. Alright. Question 11. Alright, so which row shows the correct enzyme, its substrate, and the site of enzyme action in the alimentary canal? Alright, so if the enzyme is amylase, the substrate is the starch, the site of enzyme action is the colon. Wrong. This should be the mouth. Lipase for fatty acids in the duodenum. Not correct. Okay, it should be other place. It should be at the, not really at the duodenum, but somewhere near there. Okay, maltase, maltose, ileum, epithelium. That is correct. Which is actually the small intestine. Trypsin, protein, stomach. No. Okay, because the trypsin is only produced by the pancreas, right? It's produced by the pancreas, so it's actually an alkaline protein enzyme. Okay, same for so yeah, that's the answer. The answer is C. Question 12. A student set up an experiment shown in the diagram on a hot and dry day. The bubble moved towards the leafy shoot by 30 mm in 1 hour. The student was asked to predict and explain the result that would have been obtained on a hot and humid day. Alright, so this is a hot and dry day. Okay, now they have already changed to hot and humid day. So let's see at one of the options. So what can you expect first? When you have 30 mm per hour, okay, this is during a dry day, meaning on a humid day, it will go down. We can expect that it decreases. Alright, now let's see each of the option. A, 15 mm. Water evaporates more quickly in humid air. No, right? So although the 15 mm is correct, but the explanation is wrong. 15 mm is correct. Water evaporates more slowly in humid air. That is correct. You need to imagine that humid air, right? There's a lot of water particles, okay, but water in terms of like in the air, okay, so it has some form of water there. All right, so when outside is humid, then you cannot lose your water because you are basically moving towards the same side. You know, you get the meaning. It's like when outside there's water, you wouldn't want to have more water to come out. It's a bit odd, so that's why the answer is B. Question 13. Which statement describes the process of translocation, meaning just the definition of it? Alright, so first of all, it's done in the phloem. So let's cancel out everything that it says xylem. Okay, and what do they produce? Sucrose and amino acid. Alright, so if you can see, water is wrong. The answer is C. Question 14. The diagram shows the human heart. What are the semilunar valves? So semilunar valves is the one that is actually going to the main branches of the blood vessels. Alright, so they are actually leaving the ventricles and they are going to the next organ or the next site of action. So the answer for this would be W and X. Alright, which is actually here. Question 15. Which component of the blood transport hormones? Alright, hormones are found in the plasma. Because plasma is actually one of the most amount, okay, inside blood. The composition of blood, right? Plasma is the biggest in terms of volume. 16. During the process of vaccination, what stimulates an immune response? Okay, the antibodies. Oh, sorry, it's not the antibodies. It's actually the antigens. Okay? Because when you actually inject, right, the vaccines, it's always an inactivated form of the, let's say, the virus or the bacteria. Okay? Then when these antigens come in contact with your immune system, then your immune system will actually react to it, and then they will produce antibodies later on. Alright, so antigens is the first answer. Alright. Question 17. Muscles are responsible for the ventilation of the lungs during breathing. Okay. Which role describes the action of the inspiration of air? Alright. So diaphragm of muscles definitely contract. So C and D is wrong. External intercostal muscles will contract. Internal intercostal muscles will relax. So the answer is A. So remember that both of these muscles it must be one will contract, one will relax. It has to go this way. Question 18. Which molecule is a product of anaerobic respiration in yeast? Okay, so the answer is actually ethanol. So ethanol, if you do chemistry, this will be so simple for you. It's a C2H5OH. C6H12O6 is actually glucose, so you cannot form glucose again, especially in respiration. Water, nope, and oxygen is not. Question 19. In the kidney nephron, which substances are filtered out of the blood in the glomerulus? Okay, so glucose, protein, ions, and water. No, anything with protein is wrong because protein is too big in size already. It cannot go through that. So ions, urea, and water only. Nope, it's not complete. Glucose, ion, urea, and water. That's right. So answer is C. Question 20. How many types of cone cells are there in the human eye? Alright, so there are actually 3 types of cone cells. Alright, so this one is quite new to test this sort of question, like how many are there. So basically, if the main 3 types of cone cells are actually the blue cone cell, the green cone cells, and the red cone cells. Alright, a little bit tricky, but you should be able to get there. Question 21. The diagram shows a plant shoot growing towards light. Okay, which row describes where auxin is produced and which side of the shoot has the lowest concentration of auxin? Okay, so where is auxin produced? First, it's produced that when there's light towards it, it accumulates here. So they produce here. But where does it has the lowest auxin concentration? It's actually here, on basically the lower side of the shoot. So the answer is B. Question 22. Which statement about antibiotics is correct? Antibiotics are produced by mammary cells. Nope. Antibiotics are used to treat rickets. No. Antibiotics are used to treat viral infections. This is not, because antibiotics is for bacterial infection only, okay, and not for viral infections. Antibiotics should only be used when essential. Yes, this is correct. Why? Because if you use it frequently, when antibiotics is used frequently, you're going to get resistance, antibiotic resistance, like MRSA, MRSA, okay, etc. Question 23. The diagram shows a strawberry plant. Which labeled part of the plant can be produced only by asexual reproduction? So it's actually telling you about the plantlet itself. So actually the answer would be D. Okay, because they're actually under the same, it's actually a plantlet Okay, if you can see, this is actually a plantlet. So it's actually genetically identical to each other, and it must undergo by asexual reproduction. Question 24. Which part of the flower can contain a pollen tube? Okay, which is actually the style. Question 25. To avoid extinction of rare species, a botanical garden keeps a collection of seeds known as a seed bank. Which conditions will prevent these seeds while they are in storage to germinate? Okay, so low temperature. Alright, when your seeds are too cold, okay, what happens is that they haven't reached their optimum temperature, because remember, inside of the seeds they have enzymes. Okay, these enzymes will help to grow. Okay, and a lot of chemical reactions require an actual optimum temperature and not in such cold temperatures. Question 26. The graph shows the changes to the thickness of the lining of the uterus during the menstrual cycle. So the thickness actually drops and then it goes back up again. Which hormone is responsible for the change of the thickness of the lining of the uterus, shown in between day 5 to day 16? So let's say day 5 is about here and day 16 here. So what actually helps to thicken this lining, which is actually estrogen, right? Why is it not progesterone? Progesterone only maintains it. Okay, so actually the only two hormones that actually controls this the thickness of the wall or such things, right, is only estrogen and progesterone. It's never FSH and LH, because FSH and LH is mainly just focused on the growth of the follicles, and the follicles coming out from the ovary, that is the FSH and the LH job. Alright, the walls are usually estrogen and progesterone helping to do the respective function. Question 27. Which hormone concentrations are high during pregnancy? Alright, during pregnancy, yeah. Okay, so luteinizing hormone? Nope. Okay, because once the egg is out, luteinizing hormone will drop. Okay, so anything with no, so sorry, I mean no is the correct one. And if those with yes will be wrong. Estrogen will be high, progesterone will be high. Okay, because you are trying to thicken the lining so that you can have the fetus ready to be implanted onto the uterus wall, and it will continue to be maintaining that. It will continue to maintain that until the baby has grown to a certain size, and then only can comes out. Question 28. By which route will an HIV infection not to be transmissible? Okay, it has to be by direct contact. Okay, direct contact is usually sexual transmission, sharing of needles, okay, blood or semen. The answer is saliva. Saliva wouldn't be transmissible in this case. Question 29. Which descriptions of a human gamete is correct? So when a human gamete, they mean like a sperm or the ovary, or you can say the egg. Okay, the sperm or the egg. So sperm and eggs are all haploid, first of all, because they are sex chromosomes. Not sex chromosomes, they are sex organs. Meaning like when the sperm and eggs fuse together, they will form a diploid. So individually itself, they are haploid. And when they are haploid, they are half of the diploid chromosome. So we have 46 chromosomes, right? Divided by 2, we're going to get 23. So the answer is C. Alright, question 30. Which statements about meiosis is correct? So meiosis, they produce genetically identical cells? No, they produce genetically different cells. So no is correct, A and B is wrong. Involved in the production of gametes? Yes, that's correct. So the answer is C. That's why if you know this question 29 correct, 30 is also a free mark. Question 31. A female parent who is heterozygous for the red-green color blindness has a female child with a red-green color blind male parent. What is the chance of the female child being colorblind? Alright, first of all, red-green color blindness is a sex-linked inheritance disease. Okay, so we need to use XY and XX. Alright, so let's see. Female parent who is heterozygous. So let's say I'm just going to put R, X, R, X, R. This is a female. And I draw the Punnett square. Has a female child with a red-green colorblind male parent. So X, small r, Y. So what's the chance of the female being colorblind? XR, 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 Y, XR, Y. So they're telling about a female child. So the male one is not included. Okay? So chance of a female child being colorblind. Hold up. I think there is something wrong here. heterozygous for red-green color blindness has a female child with a red-green color blind male parent. What is the chance of the female child being colorblind? Is there something wrong here? Well, the answer is 50%, but I'm still wondering why is there a 50% here. Okay, because I get now. Okay, because we are considering only the female, right? Okay, so this is actually 100%. Okay, if there's already one XR, right, then it will be 50% of the female. Okay, between the females, there's 50% chance of being the girl to have colorblind. Okay, this is actually a tricky question. Be careful, because I think a lot of people, once they say female child, they put 25%. That is already wrong straight away. Okay, 25% is completely wrong, because they're asking you, if they say is that what is the chance of the children being colorblind, that is also 50%. But let's say if the male doesn't have any, it's not colorblind, or it's just a normal person, right? Then you can put 25%. But for this case, they say that in the female child, between the two female that we get, what is the chance of getting colorblind? Which is actually one of them, 1 out of 2, 50%. Alright, so this is a very important spot you have to find out. I understand now. Alright. Question 32. A pure breeding plant with smooth stems was crossed with a heterozygous plant with hairy stems. What will be the ratio of hairy to smooth stems in the resulting plant? Okay. When they tell you pure breeding, right? So we're going to put big S. Okay? With a heterozygous plant with a hairy stem. So meaning, right, we are going to have S. Okay? So now we're going to cross it. Small s, big S, big S. Okay, as a result, we got 50% hairy. 50% smooth and 50% hairy. Therefore, this is a 1-to-1 ratio. A. Alright. When they tell you pure breeding, it's always a homozygous dominant. Usually it's homozygous dominant. Question 33. Which row shows the adaptive feature of a xerophyte? Think of it as a cactus always. So, they have deep roots. Yes, they have. Leaf with small surface area? Correct. Many stomata on the leaves? No, because they don't want to lose water. A thin leaf cuticle? No, they have a thick one, so they can help to prevent water loss. So answer is A. Question 34. The diagram shows a marine food web. At which trophic level is the cod found? So, this is the producer. This is the primary consumer, secondary consumer. We also have secondary consumer, or being a third consumer. So, the answer will be B. Question 35. The diagram shows part of the carbon cycle. Which labeled arrow would have the balanced chemical equation, which is actually this. This is actually photosynthesis. Alright, so where can we fit this? Okay, so the air to the plant, correct. So because the air will have the carbon dioxide, remember that CO2 will go to the air already. Okay, so all the CO2 will be actually accumulating in the air, and then in order for this equation to work, the plant has to take up CO2, use its water, and then to produce your glucose and the oxygen. Question 36. Which statement explains why there is a lag phase in a population graph? The buildup of waste product limits population growth. This is wrong. The low population size limits the birth rate. That could be correct. The number of births is equal to the number of deaths. This is the stationary phase. The number of deaths is greater than the number of births. So means this is actually the ending already, the death phase already. Okay, question 27. The flow chart describes the process of eutrophication. So what should be at step X and step Y in the flow chart? Okay, so of course, when you talk about eutrophication, there's always a lot of nitrate ions inside the pot. Then it will seep to the bottom and then will grow. So first of all, it will be increase in nitrate concentration. So A and C is out. There will be increased growth of producers, increased decomposition after death of producers. The decomposers will now steal all of the precious oxygen for them to continue decomposing. So there will be decrease in the dissolved oxygen concentration. So the answer is B, therefore leading to the death of organisms in the water. Question 38. How can fish stocks be conserved? Close seasons? Yes. Decrease mass size? Nope. Increase quotas? Nope. Reduction in protection areas? Nope. The answer is A. Question 39. Penicillin is produced in the fermenter by growing the fungus Penicillium. The graph shows how the mass of living of Penicillium fungus and the concentration of penicillin change over time. So when is the best time to actually collect the penicillin? So the mass of living and then around there. So when will be the best time to do so? Okay, so they tell you that they want to have the highest concentration of penicillin. So when can you get that? It's actually at day 5, because that's the highest concentration. The answer is D. Last question. Which enzymes are required to produce human proteins using genetic modification? So to cut the bacterial plasmid DNA, you use the restriction enzyme. DNA ligase is to stick them. To form a recombinant plasmid, you use a DNA ligase, correct? To isolate the DNA making up the human gene, that is use the restriction enzyme, not the DNA ligase. So the answer is C. Because remember, restriction enzyme is used twice in genetic modification, and DNA ligase is only used once, which is to join the both of them together and to form the complete plasmid, the recombinant plasmid. Alright. Okay, so that's all for this paper. So slightly tricky, but not too on the far end, but we have to be very careful, especially the genetic questions. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. I will solve them in the comment section, and I'm sorry if there are any mistakes that I've made along the way too. Alright, so see you in the next video. Bye bye.